Building my own community literally changed my life. Within 1 month, we had over 800 signups, 4 partnerships, grew a team of 16, had 3 big matcha meetups capped within 1 hour, and so much more. But I honestly had no expectations at first. It was honestly a very impulsive decision to start the community, honestly. I actually thought of the idea while I was filming for my video on rating the top matcha spots in New York City, if you've seen that video. If not, then maybe you should go watch it after this video, of course. I remember briefly pitching the idea to my friend who had helped me film that video that day. Honestly, I have him to thank for starting this community, because if he didn't like the idea that day when I pitched it to him, then I don't think I would have started this community. So let's thank Roy in the comments below.
Thank you, Roy.
In this video, I want to go through a more step-by-step breakdown of how to build a strong community so that one day you can build your own community too. But first, let's start off by talking about why I started this community. It's really important to understand your why, like why start a community in the first place, so that you can be more intentional with your goals and expectations. So I moved to New York about 2 years ago, and well, first of all, has time really passed by that fast? And I honestly literally knew like 2 people, and I met them through YouTube, who I don't even talk to anymore. But that's a different story. To be honest, one of the reasons why I moved to New York was to find more friends, because I assumed that it was going to be easier to meet people here since this city is so concentrated with people and I come from a very suburban city. But it turned out to be the opposite, where it's actually almost harder. Like, to be clear, it's easier to meet people, but it's harder to form close friendships with people because everyone's on the hustle bustle, everyone has people to meet, places to go, and your hangouts start just becoming catch-ups. I was getting a little tired of it, you know? I want long-lasting, meaningful friendships just like we all do. And I started to join different organizations, different meetups in New York City, but I never really felt like I truly clicked with people. And those types of meetups and organizations have like a meetup like every once in a while, but it wasn't something that was consistent. In order to find more long-lasting, meaningful friendships, consistency is so important. And I think that was really lacking in a lot of the different communities that I've joined. And so my motto, as I like to say, is if you can't find a community, then build one. So that's really my why. It's hard to find community, especially in your 20s. I want to find long-lasting, meaningful friendships, and I found that to be quite hard. I think a lot of us can agree it's hard after graduation. So really my goal was to start a community where people can come together on a more consistent basis and bond over something that we're all interested in, so that it connects people together. Like, you can meet people more consistently, like you have an excuse to meet people more consistently. And number 2, honestly, this is also more mental, is build the courage. So obviously this is going to be a lot easier for extroverts. We think that only extroverts can build some sort of a community, but that doesn't have to be the case. Like, even for you introverts, yes, you can be more shy. Yes, it's draining to meet a lot of people, but that's why you figure out your why, and then we can get into the logistics, of course, in this video. Your community doesn't have to be like hundreds of people, right? It can just be like a few people, like a little cute knitting club in Central Park or whatever, It can be whatever you want it to be, and you can have those expectations set, but either way, I understand that it can be a daunting thing to do to start your own community, but that's why you probably clicked on this video, because some part of you feels, this urge to start your own. So thanks for clicking on this video, and let's talk about how you can build courage. There's no easy answer, right? I can't just give it to you and, there you go, courage, yay. But I think what helped me was having a supportive little buddy, friend who can also join your community, first of all, so you at least have one other person, and someone who can just support your idea to, help build that courage up with you. And that's also why, I had the courage to build my own community, is because, my friend kind of validated my idea of where my idea for the community was going, and I honestly found that to be super helpful. So I think my main advice for building courage is to find a trustworthy friend that you can bounce off ideas with, who can even just help you make that community as well if you don't want to do it alone. Because you don't have to do it alone. You can always have someone who can help you. But I think this is honestly one of the most, if not the most important thing when building your own community, is really to just get out of your comfort zone and build that courage in order to really follow through with your idea. Because you can have an amazing idea, but the execution might not be there if you get shy and don't build up that courage. So next step 3, is to formulate an idea. So now you know your why, now you've built up the courage, even if it's just a little bit, and now you can formulate your idea. This is the most special part of it all. What's the community really going to look like? Like, what is the model? And be able to answer questions like, how frequently are you guys gonna meet? What are you guys going to do? Is it going to be in real life or is it going to be virtual? Although I will say I do recommend in real life, because what better way to make friends than in person? Virtual is so hard. I really don't recommend virtual, so maybe just ignore that question. Just go straight for the in-person. So for example, my community, Strawberry Matcha, the way that I kind of thought of the idea was, so I've used apps like Bumble BFF, and I told you guys that I've been to like different meetups and organizations as well. And I really try to understand, like, what don't I like about them? Like, what don't I like about their idea? Even like Bumble BFF, why isn't it working for me to feel so motivated to start my own community? And so I like to say, my community is kind of like Bumble BFF, but better. Something that I didn't like about Bumble BFF is just like the tireless swiping on an app. It's like a dating app, right? And it just feels so inorganic to make friends. So I didn't like that, and I found that so awkward. And I think what's also difficult about apps like Bumble BFF is once you do match with someone, it's like, who initiates the conversation and also who initiates the hangout? It's just like, it's already draining to not have a lot of friends, but it's also draining to have to like go out of your way to like wait for someone to respond back, or like if the hangout's gonna happen, or like, it's just like, it's awkward. And those are some of the problems and the gaps that I saw that I wanted to be able to solve with my own community. And so basically my idea is you fill out this quick questionnaire. It's like a 5-minute questionnaire. It includes questions like, what does your perfect day look like, your Myers-Briggs, age, location, all that stuff, so that we can better group people in groups of 4 to 6 people. And then once you get grouped each month, basically Strawberry Matcha, my community, takes care of this cute little itinerary for you based on, the group's interests. And we also choose a leader in each group to help kind of facilitate discussion and start the conversation. So these are the little things that kind of make a big difference. And I think that's also why people are so interested in this, because they don't have to worry about who's going to start the conversation. They don't have to worry about an itinerary of things to do, because my community does it for you. Something that I realized people also don't like about Bumble BFF is that it's one-on-one, where it can be daunting, especially for an introvert, and people sometimes like when you're in a smaller group, because sometimes when you're also in a smaller group, then you have a better chance of at least getting along with one person in that group. So yeah, really think about what does your idea look like so that you know how to better execute the idea. Next, we gotta figure out the branding. So this might not be, your favorite part if you suck at design like me. I don't like it. I don't like it at all, but it can be fun for some. This is where you really think about, what does your logo look like? And this is something really important, is what is the name of the community? You need to have a very memorable name so that people can just really remember it. And it's something that's fun, maybe lighthearted. It depends on the tone of the community. But I went with Strawberry Matcha. I think it's cute, and that's the vibe that I was going for. And I love matcha. So we have matcha meetups. We bond over matcha. Other than like logo and name, think about like the colors. And this also goes with like the mood, the mood and the emotion that evokes from your community. Like what is the community's personality? Based on that, you can then determine kind of your colors. So in my case, it was a little bit easier because Strawberry Matcha, obviously like matcha is green, strawberry is red. So we have like pink and red undertones, and then like green as well. For logo, so I am no designer whatsoever. I probably suck at drawing more than you do. So I actually had someone on Fiverr, which is a freelance website, by the way, if you don't know about it. I had some dude, create a design for me in under 24 hours. I was like, hey, You know, that was a very impulsive decision. Obviously, I was like, hey, can you make a design for me in under 24 hours? And obviously I had to pay a little bit more, but it turned out great, I would say. I think it's very cute, and it's the vibe that I was going for. So I would say, like, really understand, like, is it like cute? Do you want like 2D, 3D? Like, really figure out what's the vibe you're going for, and then whoever's gonna make the design for you, like, give them some examples so that, you know, they really understand like how to create your logo. Like, they really understand your language. Yeah. And number 5, create a social media account. So really think about marketing. Like, what are ways to market your community? And this is going to look so different for everyone because it really depends on how big or small you want your community to be. Although sometimes it's out of your control because, dude, okay, girl, I don't know. I literally just expected like maybe 50 people to join the community. I didn't know over 800 people were gonna join. We started off on Instagram, and initially I just had, you know, a few of my friends follow it so that it doesn't have 0 followers and look really sketch. So I had like 20 to 30 people follow it, and then we were able to grow it to like 530 something now. And it's been 2 months since we've had that Instagram. And honestly, before you market your community, I would definitely have posts ahead of time, like, so that it doesn't look blank, it doesn't look empty like your Instagram, and then it will look even more sketch. Like, make sure you have some cute pictures. Like, I had some graphics that talk about what you can expect from the community, so that when that Instagram acts as like a landing page for people, they can go on our Instagram account and kind of see visually how our community works. And this is something that I didn't do, but I think having like an Instagram reel could also be helpful, so that it just seems more humane versus just like a picture with words and people are reading, you know, what your community is about. I think a video could also be a good idea. And next, it is time to tell the world. Now you know how you're going to market the community. So now, like, go do it. So one way that I found to be really helpful that got me the first 50 people to join my community is through meetup.com. Now, this is really crazy for me because I actually didn't know it was going to pop off on meetup.com. And something to note though is that it's going to differ depending on the city, right? Maybe New Yorkers just like meetup more because there's just so many people here trying to like meet people. But I don't know. I don't know. I can't speak for everyone, but in my case, meetup.com was very helpful. So when I had first planned my first hangout, I posted on meetup.com, and I really had no idea that it was going to get people to join. And interesting enough, like in the first 2 to 3 days, we actually had like 0 people sign up. But then somewhere around like 3rd, 4th day, I saw like a bunch of people register. And I was like, what is going on? Like, I was so surprised. I honestly thought meetup.com was like kind of outdated and like only like the older generation, you know, uses it. But that's really not the case. And it really worked out in my case. Number 7 is once you kind of market it, you need to understand that sometimes you're going to make implementations and you're going to need to know how to pivot, you know, like based on how things go. So for example, I made one TikTok video. So after I used meetup.com, I got my first 50. I was like, like what are some other ways I can tell the world about my community? So I used TikTok. I essentially created a TikTok video. If you're based in New York City and you need some new friends, I might have a solution for you. I'm 26 and I've kind of been low-key lacking some sort of a community. At that point, I had like 200 or 300 followers on TikTok. I mean, I still don't have that many followers, so I really didn't expect anyone to see that video. I was hoping for at least one person to find my video, like one New Yorker to find my video and be convinced to join the community. Really, like that's what I truly thought. I did not use any sort of paid ads whatsoever for this particular video. 300 signups from that one video. I'm getting goosebumps, okay? Like, I was so shocked. Like, emotionally, it was a lot, very overwhelming. And honestly, still, I'm just like, wow. Yeah. The emotion that I had at the time was confusion because it's like, they don't know me. And what convinced them to sign up for the community? And it just made me really understand how many people are really looking for friendships in New York. So initially, I had the expectation of like, okay, like maybe 50 people will join the community. But because of that one TikTok video, it changed pretty much everything. And I needed to know how to pivot quickly and implement new things to be able to sustain that large of a community. However, in the case where you don't want that many people, then you're gonna also have to learn how to cap it at a specific number. So this is gonna look different for everyone. It really depends on how you want your community to look like. To be honest, mine is sort of almost like a membership in a way where we capped it at a certain number, and I learned to kind of set boundaries, because if I grow it too much and it goes to thousands, then I will not be able to manage the community. So we had to learn how to cap it, and yeah, it's been working out pretty well. And number 8, we're almost there, guys, is really to understand how will you communicate with your members. So for me, my primary communication is through email, because I would hope everyone checks their email. But then we also ended up starting to use Discord. It was going to be important to have some sort of a community online as well, so that people can connect with each other. I was really hesitant to do Discord, because I've used Discord in the past for other communities, and it really died like after a month. It was inactive and it just wasn't going well. So I was really hesitant. But after talking to some people about it, they really encouraged me to use Discord. And so I was like, okay, let's just do it. And if it doesn't go well, we can always just delete it. Within the first week of having that Discord, we had over 300 people join the Discord. It's been so active to this day. It's been over a month and a half of having this Discord. It's been popping. We have different like game nights. We've had work from home, language learning classes like in Korean, Chinese, Spanish, French, and so forth. We've had K-drama nights, anime watch nights, and just so much more. We've had a lot of different things go on. So yeah, it's really important that you as a leader of the community are making sure that you're on top of it to communicate with your members on a consistent basis. So really think about how you're going to communicate, how often, like what method, and what type of communication. Make sure that you're on the same page with them. Make sure they have the same expectation that you do. And then last but not least, honestly, if it pops off, first of all, amazing, and congrats to you. Let me know in the comments. Come back after watching this video and you start your community and provide us with some updates on how your community is going. And if it's popping off, then I would consider having a team. Now, I cannot afford to pay people, so pretty much what I did was just get volunteers. I posted it on my Instagram story, and honestly, I really just hoped for at least like one person to respond. But I had like over 30 people respond to my Instagram story. And then I had to play like a freaking recruiter, because, I can't have a team of 30 people, because that's also going to be overwhelming. So I just basically kind of like did these like informal interviews to see like kind of who I vibed with and who I think would be a good fit. So you have to really understand like who's the type of people you're looking for. To vet, by the way, you're gonna have to understand like what's the type of people you're looking for, because it should be like all like-minded people, or else it's not gonna feel like a community. So make sure you understand that, by the way. But yeah, with your team as well, really understand like who's the type of team member that you're looking for and what do you need them for. So initially I just started out with 3 people, and then I realized that the more my community was growing, I was gonna need more. So I have a team of 16. And I have team in marketing, I have social media, Discord mods, community managers, partnerships, event management, and ops. Honestly, if you are able to follow these steps, then you got yourself a pretty good looking community, if I do say so myself. So I honestly made this video because someone on one of my previous videos, like how to make friends as an adult, my Bumble BFF video, commented that I should do a step-by-step breakdown of how I built my own community. And I thought, why not? Such a big part of me is community management. And I do that in my full-time job at TikTok as well. It's just something I'm generally passionate about, because I've dealt with, I know what it feels like to not find the right friend group and not feel like you belong. And so I am very passionate about connecting people together. I really love what I do, and I really think that it's a true passion of mine. It's who I am. And so, yeah, I hope that this video was helpful in some way, and I really, really hope that it gave you a little bit of courage, at least, to start your own community. Again, I hope you don't feel overwhelmed by what I said. You define the rules. You are the leader. You choose how big or small you want your community to be, and set those expectations early on. Let me know in the comments if you have any other questions. I would love to answer them because, again, I love community. I love talking about community. I love people. I'm a people person, okay? But yeah, and also let me know if you end up starting your own community. See you in my next video.